Hello everyone. Hope everyone's having a good night so far. Give me 1 second, I'm just finishing up a thing over here real quickly, but I'll be right with you guys here in just another minute or two, alright? So sit tight. We'll be on shortly. Alrighty then, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello everyone. It's me, the GOAT. Yeah. Hey, it's been a hot minute, everyone. How's it going? I hope everyone's having a pretty good night so far. For people who have forgotten who I am, because I've been gone for like 2 weeks because of work and other stupid stuff, but that's besides the point. My name is Jemuzu. You can call me Jemuzu, that's fine too, but Jemuzu is technically the correct way to pronounce my name. But I'm back. Your favorite goat boy hero from another world. And I went on break for a little bit, mostly because A, work, and B, because things are just stressful and I just needed a minute to cool down for a little bit. So yeah, 2 weeks gone and now we're back. This is not meant to be a serious stream. That is not at all my intentions or what exactly I intend to do today, because it's Tuesday. Right, I guarantee you, like, anyone who's tuning in here, I'll be lucky to get to 20 people who watch this in general. Maybe 10. So we're not going to focus too much on views, we're not going to focus too much on a lot of things, but I am going to take the time to yap, because we goats are loud. However, unlike my brethren in this world, I'm going to try to do it as calmly as possible. Not entirely perfect, I will have to raise my voice a little bit because there's just a lot of things I want to talk about that I wouldn't be able to properly in a very whispery and calm voice. So I hope you guys will take the time to enjoy that. But, we got stuff to talk about. A lot of good stuff, actually. A lot of sad stuff, a lot of crazy stuff. It's been a hectic 2 weeks for everybody if you are in entertainment at all. Where the heck do I even start? Yeah, let's freaking just, think it'd be best to hop over if I get a second. Just, okay, yeah, let's hop over to the full screen thing. I ain't gonna waste y'all's time here. We all know what's up. We all know what's going to be done in. Y'all saw what the title was. We're talking about some news today. I haven't done a stream like this in a while. Mainly because of the fact that I just felt like these streams in particular just weren't that engaging. Like, I'd come on here, I'd talk for a bit, I'd react to some videos. I don't really like doing reaction content too much. Like, sure, it's easy. It's alright. But, like, also it feels like I lose brain cells. It's brain cell-less content, basically. And I don't really like doing it. If I'm going to react to something, I'm going to react to something I'm doing in real time, which is why I love playing games. But there are times where I do want to just relax and enjoy, not even just videos, but just talk about news. So yes, we're going to overwork our brains for a little bit, and we're going to mellow it down later. So I hope you guys will enjoy that with me. But yeah, we got the freaking ASMR music on. I think it's actually, yeah, it's still early and we have time. Okay, let's take a look at some stuff today. So, we are indeed going to be talking about a lot of recent developments in terms of the tariffs as well as graphics cards. I'm mostly talking about the latter because your boy is working on getting upgrades. And this does not make it easier. I'm telling you, I'm losing brain cells over this. So you're gonna lose some brain cells with me too. Hopefully this will be a good way for y'all to relax. And maybe you get a little bit more insight on my perspective on things, but that's not the point. We're gonna just, we're just gonna vibe. We're just gonna check out and see what we got. Let's, yeah, okay, let's start off with, I think the, like, oldest news to now. I think probably be a good idea. We got tariff news, people. So, the frickin' orange monkey, orangutan, I think is the correct term, that y'all let into office, is doing some very weird stuff with our entertainment. I have it right here. Oh, come on, get out of here. But yeah, in terms of video games, then I think a big topic for everybody here. I know this looks like bright as hell, believe me, could I even... I don't even think I can fuck with it. I think it just gotta stay like that, huh? Damn. Okay. That's fine. It's white screen. I'll be fine for a bit. It's just for a minute to just get the topic across. But yes, we are dealing with the tariff situation. So what's going on is because of trade between the US and other countries feeling kind of imbalanced, like we'd be trading goods over there at average prices, but that we'd be buying goods from other countries at other prices. Also, it might have something to do with drugs. It might have something to do with freaking immigration. I don't know. It's a very confusing topic because everyone wants to throw out their own opinion on the thing. Essentially, the companies across the seas, which include the likes of Nintendo and other people from Japan or China or other places, they're gonna start getting taxed for importing their goods into the country as a way to reduce drug trade across the seas, as well as, I'd assume, other things. I wouldn't know the full story on all that, because really the only thing I got is that, hey, this is going to be a deal done to enrich the economy and also, you know, stop the worser things from getting in here. At least that's what I'm getting at. It seems fine on paper, but like, it is having a big effect on the gaming industry, as, to put it bluntly, we are going to be having a price increase again. Now, the last time we had a price increase on anything was back in 2020, where the average price for games went up from $60 to $70, and for the time it made sense. Games were getting more realistic. It's a little bit of a hard sell for people who just want to buy a game, but like, hey, sales happen. So it's like, yeah, a couple games being like $70 wouldn't hurt, as long as there's still some $60 ones, but like, not really any other $60 games have come out. We got two really good $50 games recently. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 and Oblivion Remastered. Both of those games are $50. Both of them are great. They might be the last of their kind, because now we're now dealing with a huge increase in price increases. So yeah, any sort of stuff made outside of the US market, which would include gaming systems, the price is going to end up going up, because these companies are going to try to counterbalance the money they're making, along with what they owe the United States because of tariffs, which, it's very messy. As stated here, the U.S. hit China with a 20% tariff that has impacted all goods. On April 2nd, Trump proposed a series of tariffs on numerous countries. Vietnam, where some Switch consoles are made, was hit with a 46% tariff. Japan, where Nintendo Switch games are manufactured, was hit with a 24% tariff. Other key territories where these products are made include Taiwan, which was hit at 32%, and Cambodia, which was hit with a 49% rate. This US proposal prompted Nintendo to delay pre-orders on its new Switch console, which everyone knows about. Y'all know. I didn't get it, and that was because I tried to get it on the PC and not on my phone, which apparently would have gotten me through the lines, which, what the hell's the logic in that, y'all? Come on. But, like, in all seriousness, this caused a delay in pre-orders because they were assuming the prices were going to go up. And it's a very rocky thing. And yeah, the tariffs did happen, and we are getting price increases on a lot of stuff. The prices are rising because these companies are trying to counterbalance that. There are examples like phones and tablets and PCs, which accordingly is going to be due to but initially the 20 on Chinese imports, also made so on that stage, which is temporarily linked. There's a lot of factors that go into this, right? A lot of things are going into like the specifics. I don't think it's good to talk about anything that we don't need to, just put it bluntly, unless it directly impacts what we're talking about. But yeah, the likelihood from this is that because of the raise in prices, less people are going to buy consoles, which may not be the worst thing. After all, the gaming industry is at the healthiest it's been ever, so it may not seem too big on paper, but like, you are limiting a lot of people by doing that. Like, especially lower income families that don't necessarily have, like, well, I don't know, $500 to $700 to buy a PlayStation 5. I mean, for God's sake. But it is a thing that is very much apparent. And again, we're going over everything. Yeah, for some reason, PCs and smartphones are exempt from most tariffs for now, because of the 20% tariff already imposed earlier this year on products made in China. And it could get worse easy, because the proposed tariffs come into effect once the 90-day period ends, and PC and smartphones lose their exempt. We're looking at costs increasing by hundreds of dollars per unit, and even right now, it's hard for manufacturers to know how to price their products without knowing what might happen once the deadline is up. It could get better. The Entertainment Software Association, which is the U.S. video game trade body, and others could succeed in convincing the government to make video game devices exempt for the tariffs, something that happened back in 2019, but there will be some impact even after that. An analyst firm, Nico Partners, reports that it's possible, even likely, that the Chinese consumers will protest the situation and avoid buying U.S. products, which is not fun for anyone, but like, you've been doing fucking tariffs on your stuff for years. When we start putting tariffs on your stuff, it becomes an issue. Not gonna get into that whole debate. Yeah, the tariffs will have an impact on exchange rates, consumer confidence, and inflation globally, which sucks. Let me just go to, let's start off with Nintendo first. Nintendo price increase, just so we can get off this, sharedy screen. Gotta freaking, yeah, we're gonna go to this. I think this makes sense. So, here's what is going on with this, right? So, retail pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 began on April 24th, right? They have the two bundles, Switch 2 normal and then Mario Kart World Bundle, $50 price difference between each. I'm going to highlight this just so we can come back to that later. But yeah, $80 for Mario Kart World, which, you know what, Mario Kart is a big franchise and makes sense, right? If they can hold support on that game for a while, and that maybe that's an excuse from the do DLC, because technically, if you want the full Mario Kart 8 Deluxe experience, you have to shell out $84 to buy the base Mario Kart 8 Deluxe game as well as the Booster Course Pass. So this could just be a version of that, essentially, and they're just guaranteeing us now that, hey, there will be post-launch support, but that Direct did not really tell us that, so we're just now a little bit more confused. But that's a topic for later, I assume. Game prices will remain at launch, so the console and the games themselves will not increase in price any further, thank God. But Switch 2 accessories will experience price adjustments from those announced on April 2nd due to changes in market conditions. And yeah, just to put it bluntly, here's everything. So again, stuff like, yeah, this is the full thing. So stuff like the Switch 2 console itself, the bundle with Mario Kart World, and then the game prices are all the same. But this is where things get a little rocky, as the prices on stuff like Pro controllers, Joy-Con 2s, charging grip straps, the game chat accessory stuff, a new dock, the prices rose. And from what I can at least recall, the Pro controller went up by $5, the Joy-Con 2s went up by $5, same with the charging grip. I think the dock went up by, I don't know if it's 20 or 10 or 20, I don't know which one it was exactly. But prices went up for Switch consoles, and that's not exactly a good thing, but like, I can get into this fully, and I'm going to. As a matter of fact, I am going to get into this fully, because this is the utter load of bullshit. Because, y'all have to understand here, Nintendo ain't struggling. If this was like a move made during the Wii U era, I don't think people would be questioning this too much. But again, Nintendo just got off the launch of possibly the most successful system of all time. We have no idea. The Switch 1 is still out and is still selling like crazy, but it's in the 150 million units. It's a couple away from beating their previous best-selling system, which was the Nintendo DS. They're close to beating the DS. So we're now dealing with a company that has made so much money at this point, coming in and saying, oh, the tariffs are causing us to increase the prices of our games. If y'all looked at me and said, oh, well, that makes sense, you'd be lying and playing yourself. Let's just be honest for a minute, okay? Look, I said way back when the price increase originally happened for Switch 2, that, oh, well, the original increase of the prices, it's easier to justify a higher sale with the hopes of lowering the prices with sales later. Even though, Nintendo, they don't really do sales on their games. You'll find times where they sell the hardware, maybe, but that'll mostly because of other retailers. But that's different. That's different. And the console and the games are not increasing. We're not going to be in the era of $90 games. We might be, I don't know. This is the weird part, because, like, the price is becoming more flexible, and, you know, at least with Nintendo, the Mario Kart World price increase showing off their first $80 game makes sense. I don't think it makes sense for something like Tears of the Kingdom, where it reused so much stuff and assets from the previous Zelda, but I can at least look at Mario Kart World and be like, okay, yeah, it's probably going to be a big game, a lot of new stuff, a lot of new mechanics and everything. It's something wholly new and it's big at AAA. Makes sense. But, and even for Donkey Kong, it's like, that's a brand new 3D platform with Donkey Kong probably made from the Odyssey team. So yeah, that is probably going to be another big game, no doubt. But that's Nintendo. And even looking at everything here, it still is baffling, to say the least, that we are dealing with an increase on everything, right? Every little thing is getting some sort of increase, and it's just wild to me in retrospective. Like, it's so bizarre. Like, we have ourselves right here, like, increasing price. The first $80 game. We all thought GTA 6 was going to be the first $80 game. Maybe the first $100 game, because of how industry insiders were talking about it. But no, it's Mario Kart. And you know what? Okay, if Nintendo could back up the game for the next few years, because let's be real here, it's gonna be the only Mario Kart on the system. They're gonna have to do something to back it up. And even if that takes a while, you know, it will happen, probably. But even still, I find a lot of weird notes with this. A lot of weird notes. As a matter of fact, it is kind of ridiculous. But it's not like Nintendo needs the money more, and maybe it's because they don't. Because, oh, well, maybe the console's a lot more expensive than we thought. You know, maybe. And that's probably why they had the price increases on the system already in preparation for the tariffs. But even still, it's just wild. And there are, in fact, talks of them doing, like, a Japanese exclusive versions of their games where they're going to charge them for a little less so they could still give the console and the games to their own home country people. So that way they'll become, like, the next developers eventually and still get the Nintendo products. Because the developers that were influenced by the last Switch generation are now going to be helping lead the new one. They want to kind of keep that going. That's, I think, their strategy with that. But not the point entirely. It's a wild move. I don't really think Nintendo needs to do it. I think Nintendo has the quality to back up such a claim. But that's, if it were just them, we could just leave it be. But this is not just a Nintendo thing anymore, right? Yes, accessory price increases aside, let's be real, all these prices here for a minute, we were probably gonna just, I don't even know most people were gonna buy a Pro controller. I really don't know if anyone else was gonna buy that. Maybe a charging grip, maybe a carrying case, but like that's not even a product listed here, so I don't know. We're not talking about that now, though. We need to move on to the Xbox side of the story, because this is where, in my opinion, it got crazy. So, I need to find Xbox's official statement on this. I guess this would probably do. I guess this will have to do, yeah. Let's go all the way up to the top. There's so many fucking ads on these sites, good god. This is another reason why I stopped doing these videos, because it's mostly just being filled up with a bunch of filler stuff. Also, I can't, yeah, no, we have to choose a different site, because you can't even see the text I'm reading from. No, come on. Let me just, hang on. Okay. Yeah, the IGN one, that'll work. Yeah, they have the sidebar. We're safe. Okay. So, Microsoft, you were doing good, my dudes. You were doing so fucking good. You were on a good high with Claire Obscura Expedition 33. You were coming in with Doom the Dark Ages. Now we have to mess that all up, because apparently we can't have sweet things in this world anymore. So what is going on is, because of Nintendo's response to the tariffs and everything going on, Microsoft is following it up with their own set of price increases based off the tariffs. Take a look at all of it. Take a look at all of this here for a second. I'm gonna get my angry face on because it's just utterly absurd, right? Xbox, I don't even think is held by the same standard. They sold. It is not okay for Nintendo. It's like, okay, they already announced the price of the system. They didn't change that. They just changed the price of the accessories. They're changing the console price specifically. You want to buy an Xbox Series S now? Well, you're not going to get it for $300 at minimum or $350 at most. No, you're going to be paying like $380 to $430 for the system now. You want to buy an Xbox Series X in any form? Be prepared to shell out around $600 to $700 now just for the normal series. For the normal Series X, it's a $100 price increase. They have a 2TB Galaxy Special Edition, which I don't know what all that's about, but that's a $130 price increase. They're raising the prices on that extremely. And it's not like this is a new system. No, this is the same old Xbox. This is the same thing people have been buying for like $500 back then. So it's weird as shit that now we're getting to the point where, yeah, because of these tariffs, game companies are raising the prices on their consoles and everything else. Let me look here because yeah, there's definitely more, but yeah, there are a couple price increases on some other accessories, right? The Elite controller are being raised in price. The wireless headset's being raised by $10. There's an official page here we can look at instead. Also, I'm sorry for the bright screen again, everyone. Let's just look. Yeah, beginning on May 1st, we'll be adjusting prices on Xbox consoles and controllers in Xbox Store. Some of our first-party games will launch at $80 beginning this holiday season. And we just gotta look at these, because, yeah, expedited... Yeah, let's look. So, yeah, this is the full sheet right here. There's a whole sheet right here. So, yeah, the prices I've listed before are already here. That's for the consoles and the controllers, alright? So we don't have to worry about a lot of that. And there's definitely different ones depending on where you're from. I don't know where I saw this either. I think they kind of took it down, but one of the things they were talking about was raising the price on pre-existing games. Hang on. I swear I saw something about this and it immediately just made me lose my mind. Yeah, pricing of the upcoming Doom game. Let me see, let me look. Oh, by the way, this game's about to come out this week. I want to play it, but I don't have a good enough PC for that. I'm working on it. I'll talk about that later, but right now we have to worry about some other things. So, I could have sworn I saw something about the price increase. Maybe they're just talking about the $70 price increase, but I could have sworn I saw something saying it was being raised to $80 this holiday season, which they probably took down, reasonably speaking. Nah, not the worst thing in the world. It sucks, but it is what it is. But this is not the only place where the tariffs are fucking with us, right? Our entertainment is being messed with because of these tariffs. And look, you all say it's a I know some people are going to say it's maybe a necessary evil because some of these other countries have kind of been hoeing us out of the money and everything or something like that. Maybe it's better in order to stop illegal items from being traded across the seas like drugs. Maybe it's meant to stop illegal immigration or whatever, yada, yada, yada. It can't be denied here that it's not even just about this move from the president. It's about the companies and how they respond to it. We're getting raises in price on accessories and consoles and everything that people want to buy for their kids, but now they'll have to shell out another $100-something just to buy their kids an Xbox, which is not really fun. Like, let's be honest, that's not really the most fun. And it's now applying to the film industry. I think we all got a little shooken up by this. If I can find a decent, yeah. At this probably is the best one I could find. But yeah, essentially what's going on with this is that on top of having an import tariff that is going to affect the games industry, Trump is also threatening to apply a 100% charge against films made in foreign countries as he ramps up trade disputes with global nations. He's threatening this. This is not confirmed, but he's considering it. And it is in order, for one, so they could start filling up more of the pre-existing film lots. Because there are, in fact, at least in my understanding, post-COVID and the writer's strike, film companies using film studios and other places outside of the US for their films, because there's different set of laws there that they have to apply by. This is kind of something that they're looking at, and they're like, you know what, it's not fair for the workers, it's not fair for the people here. I don't care about Xfinity, go away, but it is something that, you know, we are definitely looking at and considering. We are looking at essentially tariffing the whole fucking thing. We're essentially looking at saying, hey, any films made over here that come over to the US have to apply by a big, like, increase in order, because it's not fair for the people here who are working in this industry that want to work, but they can't because all these film studios are shooting their Avengers, their Avatars, their freaking, I guess, Supergirls and other stuff over in these other countries. And it's a very weird thing. And I'm going to keep going on this. He appears on this stance later that day, telling reporters at the White House he was going to meet with the industry to make sure they're happy with his proposal. In response, the UK government said trade negotiations with Washington were ongoing. So, yeah, this whole thing is likely a threat. Likely in order to push a lot of, like, changes in this film industry in order to make sure that, hey, we have a healthy thing going on in America. Because I also watched a bit of info on this, and I had to look up a bit of it. Apparently, California was planning to put a 35% rebate on taxes for films shot in their country. They had a law like that in stagnation for a while, but, like, apparently so, like a lot of other laws that try to get passed in California, it's taken but long. So we have, like what was the rate in there originally? 15, 20%? Yeah, other countries are taking advantage of that and are actually just saying, hey, 30 to 25%. That's why so many films are being shot in Georgia, why so many of them are being shot in places like the UK or Mexico. Not just for the exotic locations, but also because the tax rebates are crazy and it's being used by a lot of studios in order to get more money back for the film. So that way a $150 million film, they might make a little bit of money back because they decide to shoot their movie over in Mexico. Now, okay, it's definitely an interesting choice. I will say this. It is certainly a wild thing. And I'm going to actually look up the California thing just so I can prove it. California, 35% film. I think the term is rebate. I think it's rebate. I think. Let me look. The tax credit. I'm stupid. I thought it was a rebate. I'm not too influential on freaking. I'm not too influential on a lot of the know-hows of your world, but at least I understood what I was talking about, so you can't blame me for that. But yeah, they're planning to hike film credit to 35%. Film tax credit is going to be risen to 35% in Los Angeles and its surrounding areas in California. But that law just got established, and I think because a lot of the people up there know that California takes so long with passing these laws that they're doing this as a way to push forward any of those plans in order to ensure, hey, things will be good. It'll have to be fine, I'm sure. And there's definitely, let me see, yeah, this is a list of tax program approved projects. I don't know half of these, I'm gonna be honest with you, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, I think I just wandered a little too deep into that. I'll look up the wrap. Yeah, that seems like a fair enough source. Yeah, why not? California state senators call for a 35% tax credit for all Los Angeles productions, aims to add animation and sitcoms to it as well, which would be very good. It might mean we have more stuff made, realistically speaking. And yeah, this was made, I believe, before the whole thing with Trump came out where he was talking about it. But yeah, this is something that they're probably wanting to push forward with a lot more now. Yeah, essentially, which includes calls to expand the types of productions eligible and offer 30% credit to all productions based in Los Angeles. I don't think a lot of the stuff Trump's talking about is going to be stuff that goes into fruition, or at least in the way we're expecting. I think it is generally being used as a threat. Like, he's ready to push that button, and it is going to and it might happen. Maybe not in the most extreme of ways. It definitely seems like, yeah, film tax for an individual project from 20 to 35%. He's doing it as a way in order to just push things along for the benefit of the industries. And it's a weird move. 100,000%. It is a batshit crazy move, and it could backfire. It could mean less productions get made. It could mean more productions are made, but they'll cost less money in general. Which, that idea doesn't sound the worst. I mean, come on here. I mean, if it's good and creative stuff, then why do we complain? But in all seriousness, though, it is going to fuck with a lot of things. I know the UK film scene will definitely be messed with a bit, especially since so many productions have been shot over there in the last few years, especially post the writer's strike. So it is a bit rocky, to say the least. This is an AI overview, and I'm only using it just to speed up the topic here so we don't have to spend too much time more on it. But yeah, no, this is definitely a change, to say the least, they're wanting to push. And I think now with what's happening, I think it's just a move to say, hey, you gotta make it better for our people, for everyone in our country to fucking shoot movies and stuff. Right? Like, California is messed up in a lot of ways. I can go into it. I might as well go into it. I said this is going to be a 4-hour freaking stream where we're going to yap about tariffs and graphics cards. So let's do that. Let's do that. California. Here we go. But yeah, this place. I mean, there was a clip going on online recently where the people in charge, like the higher people in fucking, like, essentially the people running this country, this little state here, the people running it, the legislation, those guys, I don't know the name because, again, I'm a little dumb in terms of that knowledge, and honestly, I don't have the room to care about that shit, let's be honest, because it is all stupid anyway. But essentially, the people in charge, those dudes, I saw a clip online of those people saying that they were going to willingly hold people from going back into their homes after the recent wildfires that happened down in California for, I'd like y'all to guess, y'all probably don't even want to type it, but it's not 1 month, it's not 2 months, not 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 11 months. Up to 11 months, these people, these families are being held outside of their homes. And it could just be, it's a sign of ignorance, man. It's genuinely a sign of ignorance. You have people up there abusing that fucking state of power to run this, and it's not fun. I don't want to get political. I hate getting political about these things. I do. But it has to be known, and it has to be said that the people running this place, that are running California, are kind of digging it into the dirt. It is not really that good at all. It really isn't. With, let me see, which I'll just look it up. Is California a good place to live? Let's look at this. It is desirable by many means, but there's also a lot of bad stuff. So obviously you have natural beauties, cultural diversity, outdoor activities, economic opportunities, educational institutions, all that stuff's good. But then it's about living there that becomes the issue. Because realistically, California is more like a tourist spot now. And again, I don't like using the AI thing here, but it does collect the information and does compile it up in nice ways. It is very expensive to live there. You have to make like $2,000 to $4,000 a month to fucking live out there. Which, yeah, it's kind of like that all over the place, but also, like, it's notably bad in California, especially knowing the state of things out there, and the homeless population there especially. Like, it'll be like $3,000 to $4,000 just to buy a 1-bedroom studio apartment out there, and I could look up that proper thing, too. Let's do that. Hold on. California apartment prices. Gotta look this up. Let me look this up. I could be proven wrong instantly, but no, I'm not being proven wrong at all. It is definitely not in the normal range. Even for somewhere down here, And this is not even just, like, I'm talking like Los Angeles or even like San Francisco. Like, getting a place around there has to be nightmare fuel. It is in the you're in the $3,000 to $4,000 range for some of these places. And it's actually a little intimidating in a lot of ways. And I mean in a lot of ways. Like, many of these don't account for stuff like water. It doesn't account for internet. It doesn't account for air. It doesn't account for, it's just to have a place to put your stuff in a bed. Not the appliances, not the bathrooms, not all this stuff. That's how much one of these places costs out here now. And it's actually crazy. And why I don't... And also just the freaking fact, again, on top of the high cost of living in a place like San Francisco or Los Angeles, let alone Hollywood or Beverly Hills. Because, oh my god, that'd be terrifying. It also has it also has a competitive job market, which I think that is something in particular this whole tariff threat thing is going to really propose. Trump is essentially doing this as a way to push California and other states that are growing in the film industry to take action and really make it known that this is the place where you want to shoot your movie. And it's not going to work for every place. There are just some films out there that really need to be filmed in, other countries. Like a film like Extraction, that one action film with Chris Hemsworth, or a Mission Impossible, or James Bond, There's just some films you have to shoot outside the country, but it's every film that's doing it now. And that's a little rockier. And it's taken away job opportunities for the people that live down in LA and are probably going to become homeless or have become homeless because there wasn't enough work. That is what I think they're trying to do with that whole upgrade to the tax rate credit for all these productions. But also, it is to, and in terms of this tariff threat, make America a better place to shoot these movies in. Make it a more desirable place to shoot these movies in. Because I don't even know if there's a 35% credit tax rate on any place in the world right now in terms of shooting movies. And yeah, the lack of job opportunities makes this seem so much more competitive. As a guy that's wanting to pursue voice acting as his industry, it is a very rocky and off-putting thing for me to want to go out to California. Not just because of the conditions of the place and everything, because realistically, on top of dealing with wildfires, we also have an immeasurable homeless population, which not all homeless people are chill, y'all. Look, I want to believe every person is chill and just calm and also loving and caring, but there are some people who are willing and are desperate to do things, and they do stuff that they wouldn't have otherwise, and they sometimes regret it. That is just how human nature works. But it makes it more unsafe to live in a place like this, especially since the homeless population is so high. And why is that? Well, that's because some of these people could not get jobs. They tried, but they got put on the street because of it. So, yeah, it is essentially going to hopefully, at the very least, hopefully, make it better to work in this country, and also easier to, with hopefully more job opportunities coming into the States. That's the hope anyways. Now, traffic is also another big thing too, but that's like with a lot of big cities, let's be honest. And that sucks, but like, again, you tell me how to build a road. You tell me how much it would cost to build a road, and then say, we gotta build a whole freeway that goes through the city. And at that point, it kind of just gets dystopian with how much of it ends up covering the streets, and may really just, whole other topic. Taxes are also high income and property taxes. Yeah, the $4,000 you could pay for a one-bedroom apartment is not even the end of it. That's probably without taxes too. Or maybe it does include taxes. Some of those places, they share that information. Sometimes they don't. But notably, if an apartment down there is worth less than $2,000, chances are it's not going to be bundled with internet, water, electricity, or count the taxes you're going to be spending down there, because California has high income taxes. Just overall. And then, yeah, other things down there. And a lot of people are just tired of the state too. So many people are moving out there. But still, it is a crazy thing. Just looking at everything. And a lot of people wanted to leave the state, and some people are willing to go there. It's weird, but it's also common with life in terms of just people. Again, you shouldn't stay in one place in life forever. For one, sometimes it might not be good for you to stick around in one place forever. You have to move forward in life to feel accomplishment. It is always a part of growing and developing as a human being, to develop your career, to develop your life, to grow as a person, to really just go out beyond into new horizons and all that. And that's fair. But again, I could definitely see a lot of reasons that point towards just it not being the best place, especially for families when you're dealing with a high crime rate or, you know, a lot of other things. It's so weird. It is a very mixed bag for me in terms of that, and I still want to pursue a career out there. I 100% do, but I know that there's a lot of risks that come with that now. And, you know, hopefully me rambling for a good minute about this whole film tariff thing hopefully helps some of you out too in making that choice if you ever consider moving to Hollywood or California to pursue a career in the film industry. It's definitely rocky out there, I will say that, and I'm hoping that things can get better in the next few years, but we will have to wait and see. I don't really believe 100% that there's... I mean, yes, there's going to be a president. There will be presidents that do things you do not agree with 100%. 100,000%. A lot more in the last couple decades than there have been before so, but like, even still, everything wasn't doom and gloom for everyone. You're going to have to deal with a lot of different people. Leaders will always be dealing with some sort of controversy, whether they want to or not. And this doesn't apply to just Trump, it applies to everyone that's come before him. Not everyone's perfect. They have their own ideologies too. Sometimes they'll try to push that on to the country as a whole, for better or for worse. It's just... it's weird. It's a weird topic for me to talk about. But, again, the people have the power in this country. In America, it is up to the people. It has always been about the people. What did my man from V for Vendetta say? People shouldn't fear their governments. Governments should fear their people. Yeah, point stands. If something is upsetting you, make your voice heard. Be constructive. Say why this would be a bad thing. Like for the film tariffs, yes, it would bring more jobs to the US, but reasonably and overall, it might decrease the amount of films made. Like a company like Disney who makes like 12 to 16 films a year, would probably just downgrade to 8 to 12 a year. And for a big company like Disney that's so big, it might not be the best for them to do that, and also takes out a lot of opportunity for smaller films out there too, or maybe takes out some bigger films. It's going to have a wide range. But again, in terms of all that, I do believe, in terms of anything that happens here, we don't directly control it, but I am willing to believe that our voices can ring out louder than the voices of any singular person. It's not just their country, it's ours. And not even me speaking in character, because I've gone off beat for too long about that. It's not... It is not doom and gloom until the white flags are drawn. There's always going to be a brighter path for a better tomorrow for every individual in a country like this. It is just how these things work. So for anyone out there who's terrified of what's going to happen, don't lose hope. Do not lose hope. Keep making your voices heard. They could ignore it, yes, but but even then, they can't ignore the cries of the people for long. They shouldn't. A smart person in there would realize, yeah, maybe this is not the best idea. We might have to walk this back a little bit, or at least make it more beneficial for everyone else. Something among those lines. That ain't a perfect response, but honestly, especially since I come from a royal family and all this stuff in character. Now, God, this is just a mixed bag of things. But seriously, in terms of knowing about these sort of things, you're not going to, as a leader, you won't make a choice that everyone agrees with. It's about trying to make the right ones overall, and that's a choice that is variable and different amongst everybody. And again, it is about the people, not just the country. That is the good thing about having a country like America, where it's like, it is always up to the people. It's not just up to like one dude up top or a group of people up top. There's a lot of rankings and ways that this whole thing works. There's a whole system of influence and rule making and power in a country like this that can be affected by even the people on the bottom, the working class or the poor. There's influence there. I just hope people don't forget that. I hope people don't forget that regardless of who's in office, you as an individual still have power over your life to make your life better for yourself, for your family, for your friends. I hope people in times like these don't forget that. And I know the last few years especially have been super rocky and shaky for everyone, but again, you control your destiny. Anyone tells you otherwise, you gotta smack them upside the head. Because at that point, they're just talking stupid. And that's the truth. So now, after going on that ginormous tirade for like the last few minutes, we oughta talk about something a little more personal. I know it, right? Going from freaking talking about government laws and all this stuff to something personal. Oh my god. Jemuzu, your content, it's fucking going crazy here. What are you trying to do? Win a Golden Globe or something? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I want to yap about this for a little bit because this is just something stupid that I came across during my free time yesterday when I was looking up graphical parts for get a water here for my the future upgrade of the PC, and it just really, it unnerved me slightly, so I'm gonna share with y'all why that happens after I take a sip of water. Okay then, so let's actually go into this real quickly because I think it is definitely worth noting. So, removing myself from all this for a minute, let's talk about NVIDIA. These inglorious bastards and their ginormous little cuckery scheme. So, now, in terms of freaking, let me just look this up real quick. Okay, in terms of NVIDIA, yeah. These guys just came out with the 50 series graphics cards very recently, and they were marking it as the big next move for themselves as a company. They were essentially pushing us as like the big next step. This is the next big thing past the RTX 40 series, right? The 50. The Blackwell, and it's impressive at first. We're going to look at all this real quickly, just to go on about this. The ultimate platform for gamers and creators, all these new powerful specs. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, note a lot of the details here. Yeah, okay, cool. We got display, we got graphics, AI enhanced graphics and performance with DLSS 4. Yeah, that's kind of the irk. And here's what it is we're comparing all this stuff to. This is just comparing the performance of all their different cards. We'll start with their 5060, lower end but still notable. This is comparing it to the 5060 to the last 3 versions of the 60 card. And it does have a lot of notable changes, all things considered. note a slash mark up here. This weird little slash right there. Yeah, we're gonna go into that in a bit. But yeah, no. 5.8x, 5.7x. Okay, yep, sure, okay. Yeah, a lot of, yeah, just, interesting stuff. And make a note of what's down here. DLSS4 is being used for almost every game here except Resident Evil 4. Right? So RE4, okay. Keep eyes on this one in particular. The one that doesn't have any of this stuff, doesn't have DLSS4 being used at all. Okay?